Hello, welcome to this new video. In this lecture, we are going to see how we can use SSL Labs to debug the production incidents. In the last lecture, I had shared how you can use SSL Labs to scan different web servers and then can get more insights about the SSL configuration done on the web server. As you can see on the screen, in this lecture, I'll try to go through 5 common errors that I have solved using this SSL Labs. And if you see, the first error that I'm going to talk about is inconsistent server configuration. Second is protocol mismatch error. Third is expired certificates error. Fourth is SNI-related TLS error. And fifth one is cipher suites mismatch error. So based on the topics, if you see, I assume that you are already aware of the TLS handshake, the role of TLS protocol, cipher suites, the certificates, and how the chain of trust works in TLS handshake. And then I also assume that you have the information about what the SNI TLS extension means in the TLS handshake. So if you are aware of these concepts, then I think it will be very useful in this lecture. But if you are not aware of these topics, then that's fine, because eventually I'm going to make a video on these topics also, so that once you go through those videos, you will have clear understanding of these concepts, the one which I have shown on the screen. We are going to start with inconsistent server configuration. Okay, let's go back to the Qualys SSL Lab. On the screen, if you see the recent domain which has been scanned across the world using this SSL Labs, they will just list it down. So I'll just choose any of the domain, maybe API sandbox.com. Okay, so if you see, this domain resolves to 3 different server, or maybe 3 different IP version 4 public IP address here, right? Coming back to this inconsistent server configuration, the issue that I had faced was like this. In one of my project, I was integrating to this external partner. For the live traffic, the business users used to get intermittent exception for the API calls. And then during the course of troubleshooting, we observed that this intermittent exception just happens at any point of time. But eventually, when we tried to look in detail into the issue, then we see that error is coming from the third-party API environment. Then I scanned their web server, and to my surprise, what I noticed is, like the way you see on the screen, like these 3 servers are there and everything here looks good, right? But when I scanned my partner domain, it was mentioned that there is inconsistent server configuration, and that gave me hint, like there's something wrong on that is configured wrongly on the partner side, because as per the SSL Labs, there was inconsistent server configuration across those 3. And then when I contacted the third-party API owner that knows there's something like this, in the report I see that there is report of inconsistent configuration on the web server, so can you take a look at that? So eventually, yes, partner went through the configuration of the web server and reached out to us that yes, there was indeed one of the server had the bad configuration which used to cause this intermittent SSL related exception. So in future, like if you also come across this kind of situation, SSL exception, like it will be a good value add if you come and then you just scan the server to which you are integrating to see if if the SSL Labs says anything about inconsistent server configuration anywhere here. Okay, so that is the first error that we encountered and we fixed it. Second topic that I'm going to talk in this video is about the protocol mismatch error. So as you know, like in very high level summary of TLS handshake is that there has to be a common protocol supported between the client and the server. If any of the client and the server doesn't have a common protocol between them, the connection will not establish, and then in your application log you will see some error like protocol mismatch error or cipher suites mismatch error. This is one of the issues that we had encountered. So this was the situation where some other application trying to consume my APIs, and then they encountered this protocol mismatch error, because this system which was trying to consume the API was a legacy system, and it was only supporting till TLS version 1.1. It was not supporting TLS version 1.2 or 1.3. But as part of the security hardening exercise, my API domain, we had restricted it to only TLS 1.2 and TLS 1.3 protocol. But because my web server was supporting only TLS 1.2 and TLS 1.3, and we had completely removed the TLS 1.1 support from my system, while at the same time my client had this configuration where they didn't support TLS 1.2 and 1.3. They only used to support TLS 1.1. So if you see, there is no matching protocol between the client and the server, and then it was throwing error to them, right? And the way, then out of curiosity, if you want to see where we can see the protocol supported by web server is here under this section. If you see this domain, whatever we have put your API sandbox console.com, then this domain supports TLS 1.3, 1.2, similar to what I have just explained. Even this domain doesn't support TLS 1.1. If you can see, there's no support for TLS 1.1 and 1.0 as well. Yeah. So if any client which wants to connect to this domain, this API sandbox domain using 1.1, they will not be able to connect, and then you will get protocol mismatch error. And this is very important error to note, because I see when you get error, when you encounter this kind of error, then immediately it's very difficult to understand where to look. But this tool is actually useful, that shows what is the what are the protocols that is being supported by the web server. Okay, so next time when you see any error like protocol mismatch error, first thing that you can do is you can check what protocols are being supported by the server, and if it is having some protocol which is not compatible with the protocol that you support, I think you can upgrade the libraries to support that protocol if it is required to resolve the issue. Yeah. Okay, I have 3 more errors to discuss with you, but the video is already going to be almost 10 minutes. So what I will do is that I will stop here for this video. Then in the next video I can explicitly discuss about expired certificates error and how I solve it. Then same way I can discuss about the SNI TLS error, and then the cipher suites mismatch error. Hope this video has helped you to understand how you can resolve the protocol mismatch error and the inconsistent server configuration error using SSL Labs. And if you just see my other videos that I will be posting eventually, that I'll also introduce some of the more useful tools to explain the concept, how what are the different varieties of error, because this is what I'm sharing here is the error that I have faced, right? But there are many other errors that can happen and that can be solved by just taking a look or using the SSL Labs. So I'll walk you through the other possible errors that you may encounter in your domain, and then you can use this SSL Lab to resolve those issues as well. So with this, I'm going to end this video here, and thank you so much.